Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're headed to Cinergy Field in Cincinnati, Ohio for a 1985 football matchup in Momentum Football between the San Diego Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Before we jump too far into this game, I will mention that I've had a little bit of a touchy relationship with tabletop football for a while now. So I'm starting to put my systems through their paces. I do think when I was having problems with second season on stream before I left, a lot of that was probably due to the stream more than the system. But that being said, I've always had a little bit of a touchy relationship, like I said, around my football simulators. And as I wanted to run this one through, I figured I'd go ahead and get it out of the way anyway. This one's probably the smallest of the bunch. This one is a drive-by-drive game that we're going to be playing. So we're going to give this a go and see how it goes. We do use 4 dice for this, but for now, we are going to just need 2 as we have the coin toss. And the way we're going to resolve it is very simple. Bengals, Chargers, and then the total is going to be the decision. So whichever one is higher, that's the team that'll win the coin toss. Then the total of the 2 dice will indicate what they're actually doing with it. So odds, the winning team will defer. Evens, they'll kick off. All right, that's a boxcars, so I'm going to roll that again. Okay, Cincinnati will win the toss, and they will receive. Momentum starts even. And Cincinnati cannot return a kickoff for a touchdown, so we can just mark off 1 time sequence and get into it. So now is where we add the blue and yellow dice in, and we'll walk through the first couple of drives nice and slow, just so you guys can see how it works, and then we'll pick up the pace. So we're going to roll all 4 dice for the drive. Oop. Okay, so we'll add up the largest and smallest dice. In this case, 6 plus 2 means we're going to mark off 8 time on the game clock, and I've got the score sheet here. I did have to flip the home and away on the score sheet because I'm using an old thumbnail that I had the teams reversed on the score sheet. So we'll mark off 8 time on the game clock over here. I did mark 1 off for the kickoff. Then we'll look at the blue and yellow dice. We'll sum those together. And each team is going to have a defense control factor when they're on offense. So in this case, Cincinnati being on offense, they have a defense control factor of 2 to 4. Meaning if the blue and yellow dice total up to between 2 and 4, we'll actually read the results from San Diego's defense rather than Cincinnati's offense. Because they're a 5, we're going to read that off Cincinnati's offense. And we'll see a 66 is a touchdown pass. So 8 time. And then we'll mark off on the score sheet the touchdown pass. We'll roll for who gets the reception. We'll use the red dice for that. 24, we'll find the range. That'll be James Brooks. And on a touchdown pass, it's been a while since I played Momentum Football, so this is good for me. I'm the red. Okay, so we do need the blue and yellow. Okay? Okay, so if they were doubles, something special would happen, but in this case, that's going to be an 8-yard reception. Then we're going to roll. We only need the white and red dice for the extra point. Jim Breach is the kicker for the Bengals. He'll make it on a roll of an 11 to 65. 62, so it's up. Maybe he wobbles with it a little bit, but the kick is good. So that'll put the Bengals on the board, and I've got my scoreboard here so I can keep the score up to date. 7-0 in favor of the Bengals. And then we'll turn it over to San Diego on the kickoff. San Diego can return for a touchdown, but on the 4 dice, the red and white need to be 11, and then the blue and yellow need to be 36 and under. So we'll roll to see if the kickoff gets returned. That's a 66 on the red and white dice, so we don't even have to bother. We'll mark off another time, and then we'll look at San Diego's first drive of this game. Okay, this time we're taking 4 time off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the red and white, or the blue and yellow dice total 6. That is outside of San Diego's defense control factor. They have a defense control factor of a 2 to 3. But a 12 for San Diego is going to be a fumble. So we have to roll to see. Cincinnati can't return a fumble for a touchdown, but I think on a fumble, you still have to roll to see if it might be lost. Has turned the ball over following a lost fumble. Okay. So, yeah. So they lost the ball on a fumble, and that'll pull momentum all the way over to Cincinnati's side. We'll see who recovers the fumble at least. 64. That'll be Emmanuel King. And I did forget to mention that momentum is a thing in this game. So I'm using I'm using the plus side for the home team, the minus side for the away team. In this case, the momentum is fully with Cincinnati. And the reason that matters is if we roll on blue and yellow and it comes up as a 7 when we check for the drive, then that will go to the team with momentum, which in this case is very much Cincinnati. Speaking of that, Cincinnati will get their second drive of this first quarter. We are taking off 10 time off the clock this time. Ten time off the clock. A 9 is outside of the defense control factor of a 2 to 4, so that'll be coming off of Cincinnati's offense. And a 66 will be another touchdown pass. So now that we remember how the procedure works, we'll start off with a 14. That will be Chris Collinsworth making that catch. And he'll be making the catch from 7 yards out. Momentum squarely with Cincinnati, but let's see if Breach can add the extra point. That's a 23. He'll have a much easier time with it this time. And just like that, it is 14-0 in favor of the Bengals, as Cardboard Commander now joins us here at Cinergy Field. This one is actually made by Downey Games, Cardboard Commander. This is the same company where I get a lot of my ticker games from for my replays. This is where I got Final Score Hockey for my 2009-10 season. It's also where I've got Ultra Quick Baseball that I'm going to be using for my 2001 season replay. But we're back to the kickoff once again. The Chargers need to get this together. So we'll roll for their kickoff, as they can return a kickoff for a touchdown. But a 55 says they won't, so we'll mark off a time for kickoff. And then we'll roll for San Diego's second drive of this game. We are taking off a total of 8 time off the clock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A 9 is once again outside of the defense range, so we'll be reading off of San Diego's offense. But a 22 is going to be an interception, which would be another momentum changing. But this game so far has been all Cincinnati. And unlike fumbles, Cincinnati can return an interception for a touchdown. The way we'll roll that is we'll roll we'll roll all 4 dice. The red and white dice have to be between an 11 and a 13 for it to be returned outright. They can have a 14 on that, but then the blue and yellow dice would have to be 54 or less. So let's see what happens on the interception return for the Bengals. That's a 44, so never mind on the interception return. So we'll use the 53 to find that Ray Horton has made an interception for the Bengals. And it is all Cincinnati so far here in the first quarter. So Cincinnati getting their third drive as they made the most of San Diego's last fumble. And I think they're getting ready to make the most of another turnover. That'll be 11 time off the clock. $10-11. A 10 is coming off of Cincinnati's offense, and a 66. Say it with me, Cardboard Commander. That is another touchdown pass. As indeed the Bengals have made the most of this, have been making the most of San Diego turnovers here. 32. That reception will be made by Eddie Brown. And he'll make that from 7 yards out. We'll see if Breach can add the extra point. He can. And it is all Bengals here in the early stages here at Cinergy Field. 21-0 in favor of the Bengals. Chargers need to get it together here. That kickoff won't help them at all. We'll mark off the 1 time for the kickoff as we're near the end of the second quarter. This drive will take us we're near the end of the first quarter. This drive will take us into the second quarter. And San Diego still can't get out of their own way. So we're taking off another 5 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of 1, it is all Cincinnati here at Cinergy Field. 21-0 in favor of the Bengals. Another 5 time off the clock. This is where I mentioned momentum being a thing in this game. So because the blue and yellow dice are totaling 7, we're going to the team with momentum. And in this case, that is the Bengals. So we're reading the 13 off of their defense, and that will be another fumble. So once again, the Bengals can't return a fumble for a touchdown, but we will see who gets to make the recovery. 32, that'll be James Griffin with picking up the 3rd turnover for the Bengals today. Let's see Cincinnati getting their first drive of the second quarter. Let's see what they do with it. They've made the most of 2 previous turnovers by the Chargers. They won't make the most of this one, it doesn't look like. That'll be 5 time coming off the clock. 4, 5, and time is measured, by the way. Time is measured in 20-second increments in this game, so you can see the clock there. 3 actually is coming off of... 3 is actually low enough to come off of San Diego's defense. We'll read a 41, though. The Bengals will have to punt that away. You've been playing season ticket football. I saw you do a stream of season ticket football last week, I think. That's another system I need to put back on the table at some point. I've definitely been working on that. So let's see. All right, the Bengals can have a punt blocked, and we'll roll that the exact same way. In this case, it's an 11 on the red and white dice, and then 45 and lower on the blue dice, or on the blue and yellow dice. That's a 16, so they have a little bit of trouble, but the punt goes away. And that will be, the 34 will be returnable, except the Chargers can't return a punt for a touchdown. So we'll mark off a time for the punt. And the Bengals are, unfortunately for them, they're unable to make the most of a third Chargers turnover. But the way the Chargers have not been protecting the football, I don't think that's going to be a problem for the Bengals. Let's see what we're getting up to here. Okay, that will be 8 time coming off the clock for the Chargers. I think that's that's tied for their longest drive today. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 is coming off of San Diego's offense, but a 23 is going to be a quarterback sack. So San Diego may have protected the football in this case, but they're still getting out of, they're still not able to get out of their own way. That will be a 10-yard loss, a bad sack. as that'll get punted away. Cincinnati can't return a punt for a touchdown. And the reason I know that, let me bring up the sheet, the team sheet for a minute. So on the punt returns, this would have a space on it if this would have data in it if the Bengals could return a punt for a touchdown. So that's what I'm looking at when I say the Bengals can't return a punt for a touchdown. So a 10-yard loss will mark off another drive for the change of possession. And the Bengals are up with another drive here as they manage to get a turnover on a punt this time. We're taking another 7 time off the clock for the Bengals. A 10 is coming off of Cincinnati's offense, but a 15, that's going to be an interception by the Bengals. Their first turnover on the day. The Chargers can return an interception for a touchdown. They need an 11-13 and then a 54 or less, which that is very much not. So we'll use the blue and yellow dice to determine that Lee Williams will make that interception for the Chargers. That's a 1-level momentum changing play, but it is still 21-0 in favor of the Bengals, so the Chargers need to get something going here on this third drive for them in the second quarter. That's probably not going to help. That's 7 time coming off the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 4 is coming off of San Diego's defense or San Diego's offense, but a 25 is going to be another quarterback sack. That'll pull momentum right back to Cincinnati. And that'll be a 9-yard loss. And once more, the Bengals can't return a punt for a touchdown. So we'll get the Bengals what will probably be their last drive of the first half. Yes. 7 time coming off the clock. That won't be their last drive. Actually, this will be their last drive of the half. Might be the last full drive of the half period. 7 is coming off of Cincinnati as they've got momentum. 23 will be a quarterback sack for the Bengals, though. We'll see how much yardage they lose. Actually, we'll see who gets the sack and how much yardage it takes away. And 11 will be Lee Williams getting the sack and a 10-yard loss. And now the Bengals are going to have to punt it away, but they can't have the punt blocked. Except they won't. So we'll roll the drive for the Chargers. If the amount of time coming off the clock exceeds the amount of time coming off the clock exceeds the die roll, we will go to halftime. Which, to my lack of surprise, that'll be 8 time coming off the clock. Which will take us to halftime, where the Bengals have been dominant here. They got a 21-0 lead here, even if they've started getting a little bit shaky here going into the third quarter. We're going into halftime. This one's more of a drive-by-drive game. I don't know if you're really married to the... I know you really like season ticket football, Cardboard Commanders, so this one is very different from that one. I'm going to take a quick drink, though, as we are at my halftime as well for this game. Oh. Okay. And we will keep things rolling here as we get set for the third quarter of this game. Since the Bengals received the opening kickoff, the Chargers will get the second half kickoff. They can return a kickoff for a touchdown, not with a roll like that, though. San Diego needing to get their heads out of their rear ends, but let's see what they can do with this drive here. use the one roll rules. I know that's a thing in season ticket football. I might need to explore those in season ticket football, just because, like I said, I've been a little bit touchy with. If you're interested in the fast action card game. Which fast action card game is that? Is that potentially new? That's not new rules for season ticket football, is it? Or you might be talking about this one being a bit of a faster paced game. Let's get a drive for the Chargers, though, and we'll see what they can do. Their first drive of the second half. That'll be a nice long 9-time drive for the Chargers. Nine time coming off the clock. 10 is off of San Diego's offense. And a 53 is going to be a much-needed touchdown run for the Chargers. That'll give San Diego a little bit of momentum here to start the third quarter. And checking for a touchdown drive. Or a touchdown run. Okay, if the blue and yellow are different, the lower die roll. Alright, so we'll use red and white to determine who got the run. 31 is going to be Tim Spencer from 2 yards out. Because you use the blue and yellow, whichever one's lower, unless they're doubles. So 2-yard touchdown run. We'll see if Bob Thomas, the Chargers kicker, can add the extra point. He's an 11-63. That's a 15. That'll be up and that'll be good with no trouble. As the Chargers finally decide to remember that, hey, wait a second, we got a football game going on here. We should probably start scoring some points. We'll mark out a time for the kickoff because the Bengals can't return a kickoff for a touchdown. And Cincinnati coming out for their first drive of the third quarter. Let me remember to update my score sheet. All right, that will be 6 time coming off the clock. Five and 1 is 6. That'll be coming off of Cincinnati's offense. And a 34 is a key penalty. Uh-oh. I think because San Diego has momentum, the key penalty is going to go against Cincinnati. Yep, is always in favor of the team holding momentum. All right, so the Bengals are going to have to punt this one away. So that will derail the drive, and we will... Yep. Okay, so key penalty is a momentum shifting play. That'll pull momentum all the way over to San Diego. And the Chargers and the Bengals now have to punt. Ooh, 15 is almost blocked, but no block there. And of course, no return since the Chargers can't return a punt for a touchdown. We will mark a time off. All of a sudden, San Diego seems to have some life here. Let's see if the Chargers can put a drive together here. Now with a roll like that, most likely 6 time coming off the clock. A 6 is coming off of San Diego's offense, and a 33, the Chargers are going to have to punt. Can they have a punt blocked? No, they can't. We can actually skip the return procedure since Cincinnati can't return a punt for a touchdown. So we'll look at Cincinnati's second drive of the third quarter. That'll be 7 time coming off the clock. Sure seems like the Bengals are just going into stall mode here. We're coming off of their offense. 21 is going to be a quarterback sack. Stadium groans. Ugh. All right, 24 will be Woodrow Lowe getting the sack. And he will be getting he'll make that a 7-yard loss. We'll roll to see if the Bengals have the punt blocked. They do not, so that'll be San Diego's third drive of this third quarter. Chargers looking to get some more points here. That's promising-ish. 10 time coming off the clock. All right, 9 is coming off of San Diego's offense, and a 46 is a field goal attempt. So we'll see. Okay, so I need to refresh my memory on how we calculate the field goal distance. Okay, roll. All right, so if it's found in the range, score 3 points. All right, so let's start with the red one. So let's roll for the field goal. That's a 55. Kick is up. Is it actually no good? So never mind on how to calculate the yardage. That would have been from... All right, so red times white plus blue plus white. So 25 and 7 would have been 32 and 17... and 17 would have been a 49-yard attempt, so that would have been long. That would have been long anyway, because his max long is his longest kick of the season was 46. So that'll actually pull momentum back towards Cincinnati, as the Bengals now have a chance to put something together here after the Chargers go down the field and miss points. They're probably going to put something together here. That'll be 8 time coming off the clock. Which actually will take us into the fourth quarter. Not something Chargers faithful want to see happen right now. 21-7 in favor of the Bengals. But that won't be for long. I marked off the 8 time already. I marked off the 8 time. Actually, 8 is coming off of Cincinnati's offense, and a 64 is going to be another touchdown pass. So the Bengals get some good field position from the Chargers on missing a field goal, and Boomer Esiason puts that one in. A 14, he finds Collinsworth again. And that'll be from 8 yards out. And we'll see if Breach can add the extra point. He can easily. It is up. It is good. And the Chargers and the Bengals, it's just the right thing. And the Bengals lead has gone back to a 3-touchdown lead, 21-7. Stadium cheers. Yay! Rolling for the kickoff. Ooh, wait a second. That's an 11 on the kickoff for the Chargers. That's a 22. Anderson's got that one. He takes it from the 2. He misses, makes the first guy miss, gets an outside lane. He's back. He looks like he's only got the kicker left to beat. And he's through. He's at the 15, he's at the 25-20, 15-10, 5, touchdown Chargers. Stadium barfs. Bleh. Wow, what a play. What a play by Gary Anderson. Rolling for the extra point. It is up. It is good. And what a huge break for the Chargers as they jump back in this one by a score of 28-14. So now they're kicking back to the Bengals once again. That was a huge break for the Chargers. See if they can stop Bengals' momentum. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. 7 time coming off the clock. A 9 is coming off of Cincinnati's offense, and a 52 is a field goal attempt. So they're sending out Jim Breach to try to make this kick. He's an 11-52. That is a 55. That kick is up. It is no good. Breach misses that one. Neither of our kickers are doing a particularly good job today. So 25, 28, and 17 is 45 yards. His long is 53. Question is, can San Diego take advantage of that? As the Chargers now have a new lease on life here in the fourth quarter. They have a new lease on life. They have the momentum as well. They will be taking 6 time off the clock. A 6 is coming off of San Diego's offense, and a 24 is going to be a quarterback sack. The Bengals trying to keep control of this one. 31 will be Eddie Edwards making the sack for a 10-yard loss. Stadium cheers. Yay! No need to mark off the loss for a punt. The Bengals would love to get an insurance score to put this one out of reach for the Chargers with 8:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. That'll be 6 time coming off the clock. I think the Bengals would love to just kill clock here. They were hoping for a higher roll than that for clock. 9 is coming off their offense. 51 is a field goal attempt. So we're sending Breach out again. He missed from 45. Let's see if he does it this time. This time the kick is up, and it is good. Let's see, 15, 22. That's a 39-yard kick this time. And the Bengals now open up a 31-14 lead here late in the fourth quarter. Field goal kicks are only momentum changing if it allows the team to take the lead. Okay, that makes sense. So now we'll see if the Chargers can return another kickoff for a touchdown. They cannot, but they need to get something going here. Otherwise, the Bengals are probably just going to try to run this clock out. That is 5 time coming off the clock. So speed is what they had in mind. 6 is coming off of San Diego's offense, but a 14 is going to be an interception, and that may have just iced it. Cincinnati can return an interception for a touchdown, but they won't on a roll like that. That will be Robert Jackson making that pick for the Bengals. Where did Cincinnati get a touchdown out of this? I think that was the fourth quarter. Okay. So now we're rolling for Cincinnati's next drive here in the fourth quarter. They are taking 9 time off the clock. The Bengals are chewing up a lot of clock here. That'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. 10 coming off of Cincinnati's offense, and 53 is a touchdown run. We'll see who picked up the touchdown. Let's see, rushing 53 will be Larry Kinnebrew. And he will take that in from 2 yards out. We'll see if Breach can add the extra point for the Bengals. 26, he can. That'll be a 38-14 lead for the Bengals as we are in the later stages of the fourth quarter. We'll see if San Diego can return a kickoff for a touchdown. They cannot. And I technically do have I do have a house rule for Hail Marys and kneeling down, but I'm not going to use it here because I imagine the roll, unless something goes crazy, this roll should be enough time to end the game. 8 time? Yeah, that'll do it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the end of the game. The Cincinnati Bengals dominated this one at home to pick up a 38-14 victory here on the Chargers. And that was a 4-3. So 17. 17 for Cincinnati, 7 for San Diego. 38-14 victory for the Bengals here in Momentum Football, and that'll do it for this playthrough of Momentum Football. So, this one being more highlight-driven, I feel like I'm having to supply a lot of the narrative myself, and it is a fairly quick-playing game, which I don't mind that in the slightest. Like I mentioned at the top, I have been having a somewhat touchy relationship with tabletop football of late, and I know I was having problems with second season football, but I think that was more the stream I was struggling with than necessarily struggling with football. I've kind of gone back and forth on if I want football to be part of my replay structure. I can definitely use Momentum Football as part of my replay structure. And on a related note, I have done 1972 already. That was in Momentum Football. Now, if I were to use this as an actual replay engine, the way I would do it is, as these games are fairly quick for Momentum Football, I'd probably feature 2 of them to a video. So, feature 2 of them to a video, then do at least 2 days of football videos, then run Ultra Quick Football on Sunday, essentially, as my ticker. So at least Momentum Football will continue as a football engine. I'm going to continue looking at some of my other engines, but stay tuned for that. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that during Pinot with Phoenix at the end of the month. And if you're planning on tuning in for Pinot with Phoenix at the end of the month, I would suggest you pop some popcorn because that is going to be a long episode of Pinot with Phoenix. We're going to have a lot to talk about, and in fact, I think this might actually be my 60th distinct game that I've played this month. I think I was very much Jester-esque in content creation this month. But yep, sure enough, this is my 60th distinct game this month. But that's the thing with having December off. Even with taking Christmas week off to travel, I still was able to make a lot of content this month, and I've got more coming, as there will be full steam ahead with content production or content creation for the rest of the month. But yeah, that'll do it. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm going to wrap this video up. I'll be taking a dinner break before we come back with another game later tonight, but I'm going to hold close to the vest what that game is going to be. I'll also plug everything else coming up after that game is over. Thank you for watching this video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone. The Cincinnati Bengals dominate at home here against the San Diego Chargers in 1985 to take this game of Momentum Football by a final score of 38-14. Once again, take care, and I will see you guys later.